Hello, and welcome to this video where we will be talking about one of the last topics in the domain 1 of CISSP, which is security and risk management. And the topic is threat modeling. Why is threat modeling important? It may so happen that an organization wants to be proactive in its approach in order to try finding their own vulnerabilities and weaknesses, which will help them to better prevent an attack from happening rather than being reactive about when something goes haywire. Threat modeling helps in that aspect that applying the models it can help an organization to already kind of uh, judge their weaknesses uh, through various means and be proactive in trying to fix it before either they get attacked or it's too late. There are different kinds of threat modeling. For example, there is asset-centric threat model, which dominantly focus on a system asset. For example, if a business has a critical business function application, for example, handling payments, handling supply chain management, handling customer data, then the threat model applied to basically breach or break that system is very asset centric. There is also an attack centric model, whereas the model actually focuses on the attributes, behaviors, or kind of uh, behavior that is exhibited by attackers. So it is attacker centric. In a sense, for example, when you look at the attacks which are dominantly promoted by state sponsor groups or groups which have a unique pattern of targeting a particular industry, it is good to know the attribute that have been exhibited by the attackers so that you can use it to your advantage, and it helps you to give insight into the application, the methods that is being used by attacker to breach your organization defenses. There are also software centric or the system centric, which focuses on the software. For example, one of the recent example is with respect to the supply chain management, the SolarWinds software, which is used across the globe, which means breaching it once you may end up, or the attacker may end up breaching many more systems, which probably initially beyond the reach of the attacker. So therefore, having to choose a model that you want to apply based on your business context is very important. Now, there are different threat model methodologies that you can pursue or use as per the context of your business. Some of the most popular are, for example, Stride, which is propagated and advertised by Microsoft. And what Stride stands for is spoofing, tampering, repudiation, information disclosure, denial of service, and elevation of privilege. So these are the different kinds of breaches or the method that can be used to breach your defenses, and this particular threat modeling methodology as propagated by Microsoft helps you to better manage your weaknesses in each of this particular attack methodology. There are more, for example, Trika, FAST, attack trees, CVSS, and PASTA. And what you have to know that more or less they try to send the same message, but some of them are, for example, more particular to uh, more particular to a risk that may be concentrated to a particular business, for example, payment cards industry, which may not equally be applicable to something called as a marketing or supply chain management. So it is good to know some of the most top methodologies that is being used. I highly recommend to read Stride and CBSS, that is dominantly used, and it may also be very highly testable concept in the ISC score examination. Then, as said, in terms of the attack-centric model, it is important for an organization to know what kind of attacker that they are dealing with. For example, there are white hat attackers, which dominantly means that they are professional pen testers or conducting ethical pen testing, which may help you to uh, avoid being attacked in a real time, which means you sign an agreement with this kind of attackers who will help you basically to kind of mimic the behavior of a real attacker and then try to unearth the vulnerability or weaknesses in your organization. And by weaknesses, it is not just technical, as said before, that it encompasses everything from people, process, and technology aspect. On the other hand, you have black hat hackers, which are real malicious hackers, and this is not that you're gonna get into contract with. They will attack, they will harm your business, and then if depending upon what is that they are taking, your system or data and things like that, that the negotiation needs to happen. It could also be that there is in between white and black hat hackers, and this is called like the gray hackers, which is they help. For example, you can get into a contract with them, but also they may not know everything about your system, so they will just try to randomly attack. So they just falls in between the white and the black hat hackers. Script kiddies are the name given to attackers who just do things for fun, who does not have a huge technical or a business knowledge, but they have some tooling that they can buy from altered sources like dark web and things like that, and they just can randomly try it. So they are script kiddies. And also outsider to an organization, which is normally anyone which is not working or directly related to an organization, which may end up harming your interest of your business. Insiders, on the other hand, are much dominant force to reckon with because they have the know-how of the systems of your organization working, of your weaknesses or potential weaknesses or the information which may not be available in the outside market, and therefore insiders, no matter how much you trust them, also have to be dealt very cautiously. Then there are activists who propagate a certain ideology, for example, in terms of sustainability, or for example, sale of arms and stuff like that, which may end up, the organization dealing in that business against their ideology being attacked. Governments or state sponsored are the big tickets who play at a very high level, be it a geopolitical reason or any other reason, that they end up either directly attacking an organization or an organization working in a particular country, or as such supporting an attackers group, which may in turn then act as a proxy and then attack the organizations. One of the most technically common used method is the bots and the botnet, which is dominantly the methodology used by attackers where they do not directly attack the system from their own systems, but rather they hijack the systems for using their compute power, multitudes of laptops or the servers or unpatched servers in the data center, and then try to launch an attack from those servers so that it looks like that attack is coming from those servers rather than from the actual attacker. It is work on the principle of command and control, that in command controls the various aspect of the attack through various resources, and then through that command the attack is propagated. It is one of the most commonly used attack which got famous from 2014 onwards, where the term DDoS and distributed denial of services kind of attack became very popular. Last but not the least, there are different kinds of the attack. This is not an exhaustive list but it is good for you to understand what is different kind of attacks are, which actually point out to what kind of a pattern actually being used. For example, phishing is a common term used for hijacking a system through email communications and using malware either encrypted in a downloadable links and things like that. But then spear phishing, on the other hand, points to a very targeted and pointed attack to a particular process, people, or technology aspect. So it is good for you to know the difference among all these different kind of attacks. This is again not a very exhaustive list. You will have to read more on your own, but in a nutshell, this is how you will be able, or you should be able, to differentiate between different kind of attacks so that you can then design your own defenses. I'll stop here. So thank you very much for listening, and I'll hope to see you in the last and the final video of this series very soon. Thanks a lot.